Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Dynamics 365 Security and Licensing Updates, What You Need to Know. I'm Sebastian Anderson with the Licensing and Database Desk here at Avantico. After a tumultuous few months, things have finally settled down a bit in the D365 licensing space. Microsoft's new staged approach to enforcement is here to stay, and the January 15th start date looks set in stone. While the path forward is now much clearer, most firms still have a long way to go on the road to compliance. To guide you through the twists and turns of this updated framework and what it means for your business, we have Morten Løgstrup, our Director of Customer Engagement, and Tatiana Subotin, our Licensing and Database Technical Lead. They'll be walking us through what Microsoft's updated enforcement means for D365 users, how to leverage Azure Telemetry Insights to review actual user behavior and right-size license allocation, what's new in D365 user security and governance, how to audit your current license usage and roles, real-world examples of how clients avoided thousands in unexpected licensing costs, and finally, there will be a live Q&A as well as a special limited-time offer for attendees. Morten will be taking over shortly, but before we dive into today's session, I'd love to share some of the other exciting webinars and events we have coming up. First, on November 20th, we have Work Smarter, Dynamics 365 Finance Automation. We'll dive deep into 3 powerful automation modules already included in your D365 Finance subscription: Accounts Payable Automation, Collection Process Automation, and Advanced Bank Reconciliation. You'll see how these standard tools streamline daily operations, cut costs, and reduce human error while freeing up time for more strategic finance work. Next, on December 9th, join us for another D365 licensing session. This will cover any new developments in the licensing space between now and then, such as new features or timeline changes. We've also been hard at work behind the scenes on some exciting new tools and strategies to streamline licensing remediation. Stay tuned for more. We will have other events and webinars added to the calendar, so be sure to keep an eye on this space. We've got some exciting things coming in 2026 that you won't want to miss. On top of that, please let us know if there are any topics you would like to see us cover in the future. All registration links for these events will be available in the chat, on our website, and within this slide deck. One last note. As we go through this presentation, do not hesitate to pop any questions you have into the chat. We will have several interludes for questions during the show, as well as an open Q&A at the tail end of the webinar. Any questions that aren't answered live will be addressed in direct email follow-up. And with that, Morten, take it away.
Thank you, Sebastian, and welcome everybody. For those who are joining again, thank you very much. There will be a few changes that you haven't seen before, or updates, feature updates, and for all the new folks that are joining, welcome and lean yourself back in the chair and let us take you through some of the changes that are coming, if you're not already aware. And please just drop all your questions. There's nothing stupid in these conversations, because there have been so many changes that the recent months, or actually since May, that we see a lot of customers a little bit confused about what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. But before we get started, this is the high level agenda. If you have any specific topics, please again just drop them in the chat. Today we will focus on the deadlines, milestones, as we did last time. There's a few new tiles in the Power Platform reports that we are looking into. Then taking a peek on the advanced assessment that we have been delivering, God knows how many since this started, to help customers optimize their security design. And one thing that we have decided to spend more time on, dedicated time on, is how to enable telemetry, because we do see more and more customers still struggling a little bit enabling the telemetry, and it's highly valuable insights you get when you enable telemetry. So if you have any issues, send us an email, drop it in the chat. But Tatiana will walk through some of the steps needed to enable telemetry, and also talk about the pros and cons. But let's jump into it. We said before, do we have any jokes? If Microsoft have changed the date again, I think that would have been a good licensing joke. But they have not. They are sticking with the January 15th as the milestone date where activation or enforcement starts. So my recommendation to all of you: check every single renewal dates, may that be on CSP or enterprise agreement. Check your earliest renewal date, because that is what Microsoft are accounting in their system. We will dig into a couple of scenarios in a second. It's still the same applications. There have been no changes to the different device licenses and so on that are coming later. The same for database storage. We will spend a little bit of time on that because we have seen some customers being impacted recently. The unknowns. The last couple of actually days, I have seen a lot of changes to the reports in Power Platform Admin Center. Sometimes it just at 000 across the board. This morning there was some new tiles, not for all our customers, but for our own Power Platform admin. We saw new tiles. So I think as we speak, they are rolling out some changes. So stay tuned in your Power Platform admin center the next couple of days. You might see some changes. One of the changes we have seen, I covered this last time, but August, September, October, there was a lot of changes to the different security roles, what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do. We covered that last time, but one big thing that supposedly happened yesterday, let me see if I can go 1 month forward, that was related to team member licenses. And if any of you have seen that a lot of team member users have been bumped up to activity or supply chain, that should now have been reverted from Microsoft. A lot of the approval security roles have been reverted back to a team member. I can't recall if there was an issue or it was a mistake, but they have rolled that back. As of yesterday, I was told it might be that you have a few days delayed, depending on what region you are in and so on and so forth. But check it, because November 17th, that was the date we were told previously by Microsoft. One thing that we mentioned last time too, and that is the custom tables. If you have many custom tables, you will likely see team members being activity or supply chain or finance users. So keep an eye on your custom tables, because if you have more than 15, you're no longer a team member license. Any question, comments so far, Sebastian?
We've got a clear slate, but please do not hesitate to ask if they're floating around in your heads.
Perfect. So the licensing validation plan, we shared that last time. It's still the January 15th. The most important thing is check again the earliest contract renewal date, and your renewal date. Look at all the 2026 renewal dates. The 25 it doesn't really matter. It's the 26 renewal dates that matters in this case. Below there's a couple of examples, but I tend to say if you are on a month-to-month subscription, monthly term and monthly billing, you are going to be impacted right away. If you're on CSP or EA annual agreements that have renewal in 2026, use this screen or this calculator to figure out when you get the in-app notification and when you get when the enforcement starts. So Those that are on month to month, you are definitely getting impacted first because you have a renewal in every single month. Any question to the screen?
Nothing
No.
so far.
That's good. That's good. And take a screenshot or check the recording after the call. But this is still the milestone base. Nothing have changed related to the validation enforcement. Users will be met with a screen similar to this, showing that you cannot access the workspace that you're trying to access. And it's important to recognize that if a user need a finance project operation attached or a human resource attached, for example, if they do not have all three licenses, they will be met with this you cannot access screen. So check that out, because we do see, if you have been live for a certain amount of time, most users tend to have a lot of security roles assigned to them, which is driving multiple licenses, not just one license, but multiple licenses. We talked about the concept of a base license and then the attached license separately. And in most cases, I would say 9 out of 10, there's a really good opportunity to optimize those licensing mix. We shared this banner last time, and that's just the warning. You'll receive that before the anniversary, just when your users are reaching out to you with a screen like this, get started, or maybe you're a little bit late on it. But there's a path forward. There's a path forward. Customers that are admin in your tenants, you might have received an email similar to this. Some of our customers, they've already received it. So Microsoft are proactively sending notifications to LCS admins. So check who is your LCS admin, because there is some information in the tenant or information in the standard mailers Microsoft is sending out. I think I received one not that long ago, but I bet that they are ramping it up here in end of November or start December. So check out who is on that distribution list. Oh, one left. So Microsoft, they haven't changed anything related to who require a license. And we touched base the last time that service account and admin, clean service, clean admin accounts don't need a license. Your device users are not required. That's a wrong terminology. They are, of course, obligated to have a license, but currently it's not enforced. We do have customers that have been picked out for Microsoft audits, and that is extremely painful and extremely costly. So if you, for example, need device licenses, it is definitely our recommendation to hit the right licenses as fast as possible, because you want to avoid a Microsoft audit when it comes to that. It says here bullet 5, storage validation is on the engineering roadmap. This very, very important that everybody know that we have seen, as I think it was last week, we saw customers with Dataverse issues, or they were over the entitlement, and it actually impacted some of their reporting tools. So even though it's not enforced by Microsoft, it will very, very likely have impact to your, for example, in this case, reporting tools. If it's a third-party reporting tool you have, we have not seen any issues with customers using Fabric, but we have seen issues with customers using Jet Reporting and Atlas. We can go into more detail in a separate call when it comes to that. ISVs are still one of the big players when it comes to security roles that are driving up licenses for users. Most recently, we saw a third-party AP automation app driving up users from, I believe it was team member activity to a full user. And then the customer is now working with the AP automation solution to figure out a provider to figure out how they can limit the access so they don't need a license for the third party and for D365. That's going to be very expensive compared to using the out-of-box AP automation technologies. We initially, I think it was webinar 1 or 2, we touched base a little bit on some of the deprecated reports. You no longer see the top reports. Everything are in user security governance. All the reports you need to work with, they are in there and can be downloaded and manipulated and so on. The old ones are long gone. So enable your user security governance. If you haven't done it, reach out and it's super quick screen share and you can do it via feature management. The new reports definitely starts in Power Platform Admin Center. We've been told that that's kind of the truth. Start there, and Microsoft have increased the update or refresh time to be only 4 hours. I think there's still some delays and potentially the are bringing that down. We saw, I think it was yesterday, a customer changed some of or deactivated some of the inactive users, and it didn't catch all of it within 12 hours. So there might be some delays still. We'll actually come back to the report in a second. This morning, I actually saw some changes in our Power Platform reports, and you have now 3 new tiles. I did check for a couple of customers; they didn't have the tiles yet. So look out, because Microsoft have added those 3. They did mention to us that they will be coming on November 17th, so that's great. Only 1 day delayed. But in here, it gives you a little bit more insight into what's happening. I have not checked if any of this is correct yet, so forgive me if the numbers looks a little bit crazy. They literally populated this morning.
That can certainly happen with these things.
Any questions, Sebastian?
Yeah, it looks like we do have a couple. We can space them out as we see fit, but I'll go ahead and run down the list in the order they were asked. So first off, from Mahmoud Abu Ijai. Hi, can you please explain a little bit more about the 15 custom tables limit on the team member access, essentially?
Hey, Mahmoud, thank you for the question. I think Tatiana will cover that later in the demo. She was actually the one who found it, so she can go into detail with that. Thank you, Tatiana.
Okay.
Anything else, Sebastian?
Sure. So we have another one from Kevin Poggensey. So the Kevin has tried to create a role for a purchase requisition. When he used the standard privileges, it still needed a full license. They opened a ticket regarding the problem, and the official answer from Microsoft was that the licensing guide is wrong and what the report says is right. They said they removed all rights from team member and that it's read-only now. This is internal information from a few weeks ago. So this seems to contradict what we've heard from another source about the team member rights being expanded once again. Is that something we know anything more about? Or is this maybe just a delay in the rollout of the new terms?
It's a good question. It's twofold. One, I would love to see your exact role and configuration. And 2, Microsoft did say that they would roll back some of those security rights here on November 17th. So try update your report maybe tomorrow or Thursday or Friday and see if anything have changed. If it's still an issue, give us a call and we can do a quick screen share and we can show you exactly what is driving what is driving the user from a team member to a full user if that's the case. Happy to help, because the approver, that was one of the privileges that they rolled back from a full to a team member. It might not have happened yet. So give it a couple of days and reach out if it's still an issue.
Yeah, sometimes with these cutting edge changes, they can take a little while to appear, and somebody internally at Microsoft might not be as up to date on it as their licensing team. So just bear that in mind. We have another question from Horacio Castellarin. They have 20 supply chain licenses contracted until February of 2027. They're
Yeah,
using Dynamics with 60 supply chain licenses at the moment. Do the
yeah.
remaining 40 licenses count starting in January of next year?
So back to my initial comment. Even though you have a renewal date in 27, you probably also have a renewal date or anniversary date in February 2026. So the anniversary, the date you need to count from is your 2026 anniversary date. That's if you're on an EA agreement, that's the step up date. If you're on CSP, there must be a February 26 contract renewal date, and that will be the. Sorry, I wanted to highlight this. It's actually most likely scenario B that you are looking at. We can take a look at it and give you the exact breakdown if you want. Just send us an email with the exact anniversary/renewal dates, and we can break it down when the different in-app and enforcement and notification will happen. Good question.
Right. I think in the interest of time, we'll move on with the next section of the presentation, but there will be further breaks for more questions as we go along. So we will get to you guys, and please feel free to ask any other questions.
I'll speed up before I hand it over to Tatiana. Database capacity, we kind of we didn't spend a lot of time on it, the most recent webinars, because we didn't see many issues. But as mentioned earlier, we now have seen Dataverse causing issues for some customers that have third-party applications installed. So please go to the same Power Platform Admin Center, go up to the Capacity Add-on tab, and then the first tab, you can actually see the summary of finance. And I believe there's a new workspace under, this might be a little bit outdated, but there's a Dataverse outspace where you can see if you actually need Dataverse storage. There will most likely be a warning banner, and the people that deployed the different environments in Dataverse, they also receive notification that you are over a limitation. I actually received one earlier today, so I can pull that up a little bit later if you want to see an example. Lastly, before you purchase any additional storage, there's many different standalone SKUs for capacity. Check first if you need more D365 finance supply chain licenses, because most of them come with a certain entitlement. So add the licenses, and then you can purchase the standalone capacity. That's my recommendation. And this is from the licensing guide. It's one of the last pages. You can see exactly the entitlement, or we can help you calculate it. Prices, no changes to that. I'm just powering through, but it's very expensive if you have a big database, no matter if it's Dataverse or finance and supply chain database. The advanced analysis, before I hand it over to Tatiana, if your Power Platform Admin Center doesn't look that good, or you are expecting, for example, to need to purchase 40 additional licenses, and you don't believe that is correct, reach out, because we can definitely get you some detailed insight and recommendations on how you actually can trim those down to a lower tier license if possible. We use your telemetry data that Tatiana will show in a little bit, And what we have seen, and I mentioned that, I think the last 7 webinars, there's not a lot of recommendations in the standard tools. So you need some hands-on recommendations. Otherwise, it's very, very complicated to work with the amount of data. No matter if you have a 60 user instance or a 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 user instance, the complexity only increase with the number of users you have. The process, we walk through that the last many times, but we only need 60-minute, maybe a little bit more screen share session, depending on if you have enabled telemetry. Now you can follow Tatiana's walkthrough in a second. Then we do in-depth analysis. We have added some automation tools since last, so we can actually speed up that process. And then we are handing over a presentation full of how-to and also some really hands-on recommendations to clean up activities that you can do and that we can take on. If we have covered this last time and we also covered it now, but it's if anyone are interested, reach out and we can definitely tell you more about the deliverables, the report that we are handing over, the time frame and so on, specifically based to your scenario. We are still running a campaign. Next month, I've heard that we are no longer running the campaign. So if you still are in need of analysis, reach out and we can help you. Tatiana, take it away, unless there's any questions first.
Let's say there's one, looks like it might be a more technical question from Indra Ilyukovica. If we use production floor execution, PFE, on production, can we somehow add it under a device license? Seems like a particular question for Tatiana.
For me or for Morten? Okay, I will
whoever's got it.
Because I know the answer. Yeah. So it's written in the licensing guide. It is written in the licensing guide that PFE is covered by the device license. It's quite unclear, like the way how it's written is, it's not. It doesn't give you the exact answer regarding the PFE. However, the PFE is mentioned, like manufacturing execution is mentioned as one of those which is covered by the device license. And also it's mentioned that the device license covers up to activity license. So if you have users, warehouse, like let's say warehouse mobile device users, this is team member, but in most cases you don't see any license, so it looks like it's not licensed. But we know that warehouse mobile device license, mobile user, this type of user is covered by device license. Same with the PFE. Even though it's an activity license, it is covered according to the licensing guide. It is covered by the device license. So you should be good to use the device license as long as you don't have any extra modification in your PFE process. For example, I will give you an example. The PFE, for example, can cover, we know we can post picking lists, we can post production operations, I mean route cards or job cards. PFE is a job cards, we can post to job cards. We can report as finished products, right? This is all covered. This is a standard functionality. But if you customized your PFE and added ending of production orders, which has never been activity operation, ending is a full license, always. It used to be, and it's still. Then your PFE role becomes a full license. and it's not covered by the device license anymore. So depending on your customizations, if there is no customizations out of box, yes, it is covered.
Awesome.
Answered.
Box checked.
Yeah, okay, great, right? Okay, so I'm going to talk to, this presentation is going to be a little bit different. Usually we focus on the standard functionality, and I will go through the standard functionality, through the existing functionality, everything what Microsoft lets us use. However, I want to focus on something what we so the main goal of our activity, and hopefully yours too, is to optimize your roles, optimize your security, provide enough permissions to users to complete their tasks, and in the meantime save money on the security roles. And today we want to, so we discussed this, we reviewed our experience with our clients, and we want to open the door and show you what you can do, how you can analyze it, and what you will need for this. So let me quickly go through normal stuff for those who sees this first time. I'll share my screen, and we will go through our standard reports. Our standard reports, right? So the first standard report is license usage summary report. We're talking about the family of the reports that are sitting in the security governance section of the system administration security. Right, all of this is designed to help you deal with the security. I'm very cautious saying that to optimize your security roles, because so far it helps you understand your security. There is no optimization component here. And this is why we're focusing on the optimization today. So these standard reports, the license usage summary report, for those who was here last time, you probably noticed that I had a little bit more here, one more user with the other roles. We experimented yesterday, and we found we were asked a few times, what's going to happen with the service account? So what if my service account is not a system administrator? How can I secure my service account from the license requirements? What if my service account has access only to the sales orders or purchase orders? It's our normal life, right? This service account is used as a connection point between the two systems, and I don't want, like, it's not the point to pay for the service, like for the license, that is required by this service account. So just a quick reminder that we have, if you have such service accounts, and if you want to protect this service, or like we want to organize it properly, right? Let's say we have Microsoft Enter ID applications list, where if you place an account, a service account, it's going to be recognized as a service account, and then this account disappears from this list. This is exactly what happened to our list. However, there is nothing new here. You see the same report, same licenses, same covered entitlements, uncovered entitlements. And for those who sees this first time, what we're talking about. So each user has a set of security roles, right? Security roles, we have a security analysis report, which is part of the same family. Security analysis is sitting here. If you open it first time, don't forget to rebuild it, because it's a snapshot. It's not an actual actual security configuration. It's a snapshot at the moment when you rebuild it. This report shows you your configuration, role, sub-role, duty, privilege, and all entry points. And also it shows you the permission level that you have for each single entry point. And when we look at this entitled, not entitled entry points, these entry points are coming from the role configuration from here. And what's entitled, not entitled, right? Finance coverage. So we have a set of roles. This user has a set of roles altogether. We're talking about altogether roles. Altogether, these roles have 4,608 entry points that require finance license. This is how we read this. So altogether, right? No breakdown. If you want a breakdown, we go to the role license, user role license part of the report. And then you see the role and entitled, not entitled entry points. You see license, required, not required. This is misleading. 0 is misleading. If the role has a finance license, it's just like one role covered. This is why another one seems not requiring a license. It still requires, if you remove the first role from the user user to role assignment, if you remove this role, then this role will require a finance license. So finance is finance, right? 0 means nothing in this case. It's still required. Same with the human resource, same with everything else. System user is a team member, but the team member is not required, and you know why? Because we have a more expensive license that cover team members, right? And none, like obviously it doesn't require any license. Then you can go down to the role analysis. You can go down to the duty analysis, to the privilege analysis. Just a quick reminder. Let me pull accountant. Looking at this, right? Why do I have lots of entitlements under the human resource and supply chain if it's an accountant? Accountant is a pure finance role. And this environment is a Contoso environment. So why accountant has all of this? Because lots of the entry points qualify for multiple licenses. If you remember, if you worked with the old school system, right, the same system but like old fashioned, we had operations. We didn't have the breakdown by service. We didn't have commerce, finance, supply chain, human resource. We had operations. And it's kind of the same concept. Lots of the entry points are kind of operations. So if it's a finance role, the same entry point can be a finance entitled. If it's a supply chain role, it can be a supply chain entitled. This is why you see lots of entitlements here. But what we need to remember is the role, the real role, has all items entitled and nothing unentitled, not entitled. So the real role that this, the real license that this role requires, the real license has 0 under unentitled. And if I see 0 here, that's my license. If I see something not entitled, it means that human resource is not enough to cover accountant, because I have 719 entry points that don't qualify for the human resource. It's not enough, right? This is how we read role license, duty license, and privilege license. Just a reminder. Okay, I said a few words already about the security analysis. It's a fabulous grid where we can see everything, just all roles with all their components. We don't see the license here. Actually, it's almost impossible for anybody to say how much each single point costs. It is possible in a particular configuration. So if company ABC comes and they say, we have this particular configuration, can you tell us how much each single point costs, what license is required for each single entry point? Yes, it is possible. In general, quite difficult. As I said, entitlement is it's a relative property. It's related to the overall configuration and user to role assignment. No, an activity agent report. Activity agent is very useful to track your inactive users. It can be misleading if you have integration, if you use CRM, for example, Microsoft CRM, or any like field service application or project operations application. I mean, model-driven apps. Then these users will be inactive. Like again, conditionally inactive, right? What's the condition? They are active in those applications and they still operate in financial operations. They create records, they update records, they do, but they don't log in using UI. And activity agent report shows us only data that captured via UI. A little bit, let's say, it's a little bit. It's a little gap. However, it gives you like 80% of information. You can track your inactive users. So talking about all of this, yes, our main point is here. What we can say, quite a lot. I can show you what we usually, like when we deal only with this information, what we usually, what we can analyze. We can analyze, let's say, the license requirement and license requirement versus current subscription. Great. The day before yesterday, Morten brought a great case, just a fabulous case that I want to talk about. It's not like the first time, but this is the first time when it was a standalone case that we needed to address. So what if, and this is calculation, it's just a little bit converted. This report, it's converted into such spreadsheet. So this is the requirement according to license usage summary. And this is the current license subscription. How can we, and this current license, we are in the middle of the subscription. So the renewal date is far away from now. It's like, how many? 5-6 months from now, right? So we cannot change it. How can we convert one to another one? This is a conversion, the closest conversion we can do. But like, why does it happen, right? Why does it happen? So it happens because, again, this is Microsoft. These are the numbers that are calculated by Microsoft, and these are the numbers we go with. If you start looking precisely at the way how Microsoft calculates, they usually go with the supply chain license first. So if a user has mixed licenses, supply chain and finance, supply chain and commerce, supply chain and this is it actually, supply chain project, supply chain human resource is supply chain always a base. The more expensive license always goes as a base. But if we take equal licenses, these 3 equal licenses, equal in the price, Microsoft goes with the supply chain first, and then they calculate mixed licenses as a finance attached. In this case, the customer went with the finance as a base license, and supply chain was an attached license, attached to others. So what, can we convert it? Yes, we can. And we went through each single number yesterday, and it was new for me too. So what if the customer has 4 attached licenses, like human resource, and I need 4 full licenses? I can easily convert them. I calculated, Microsoft actually calculated, it's not me, right? It's the report. The report calculated, and I need 4 full licenses. So it's easy to convert 4 attached to 4 full licenses. Just a couple of clicks. What if I have 3 attached project licenses and I need 0? This is not an easy step. Morten showed this to me yesterday. Thank you, Morten. It was an educational moment, and I want to share. It's not an easy step, but you still can convert project attached into any more expensive license. It is possible. You cannot convert. You cannot go down. If you have a commitment, if you have a subscription, you cannot go down. For example, if I want to convert a project attached into the team member, it's questionable, but I can go up. So it is possible to convert, and you don't need to be confused. If you're in the middle of your subscription, it's totally fine. You can flip licenses, and you can select which license goes first, like the base license. That's the first. This is all about existing functionality. And now let's talk about telemetry. So telemetry, for if you want to optimize your security, this is a must-have. It's not like we wouldn't help you if you didn't have telemetry. We would, but I usually say, like, you're losing 80% of the information if you don't have telemetry, because I will show you an absolutely different picture if you have telemetry. So it's easy to activate telemetry. You need to go to Application Insights. Application Insights. You need to create a new resource. Just follow the prompt, like select the resource group, select the name, select region, select your subscription, and first 5 GB of transmitted data are free. It's enough for 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks. In most cases, it's enough even for 1 month. Every month you get 5 GB free. And once you created your Application Insights resource, you can go and you can you can connect your resource to finance and operations. All you need to do is the instrumentation key and the connection string. Copy the full instrumentation key, please, and copy the full connection string. Once you copy it, the configuration is very, very simple. You go to System Administration, you go to the Monitoring and Telemetry parameters, you configure 3 tabs. One is Configure. You will need custom metrics, form runs, user session, custom traces. We don't need batches for this exercise, and warehouse events. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 checkboxes. You put your environment. If we're talking about production environment, then you select production. If we're talking about, in this case, this is a sandbox environment, right? We select test. Where to take this environment ID? You go to LCS. LCS. And so is this one. You open the environment, and the first string here is the environment ID. Just copy this environment ID. This one. This is your environment ID. So you place this environment ID. And the third thing that you need to configure is application and size registry. Again, select the right type of the environment, paste your instrumentation key, this one, the instrumentation key, the full instrumentation key, and paste your connection string here. And give it a couple of minutes, no, maybe 5 minutes. Worst case, I think we've seen is 5 minutes. Once it's connected, it starts transmitting data. You will go to the log. You will switch to the KQL mode here, and you will run a very simple query. This is all you need. Licensing here. So this is the query. This is all you need. Run. And you will see a very simple subset of data. When, what entry point, and who, and how long, right? This is more than enough. You can tell me, okay, so the entry point, yeah, that's great, but some entry points, they have a different resource type and the same name. Yes, it's a gap. Unfortunately, you cannot say from the name what kind of entry point it is. What kind of entry points we have? We have a lot of them, right? We have display menu items, we have action menu items, we have output menu items, we have data and entities, we have controls, we have tables, we have and so on and so forth. Here you will see only 3 types of entry points. They are action, display, and output menu items. Action are actions that you do in the, you calculate something, you click the button, that the button does something, right? So this is your action menu item. Display is all visible objects. It can be a huge form, or it can be part of the form. So all visible objects are display menu items, and output menu items are reports. And you will see the entry points here. And then this is the story that we usually like to tell the customer. What can we do with the telemetry? The telemetry gives you. Normally I show this picture. You know that user has a security role assigned, and there is a security user role association data entity that gives you all roles assigned to the users, and also you can assign roles using this data entity, or unassigned roles using this data, or deactivate assignment using this data entity. And also telemetry, you saw it, right? Look at this. It gives you the relationship between the menu items, entry points, and users. And system security analysis report, the huge report that I showed you. This one. It has the relationship between the role, and entry point. I just decided. So when we connect all 3, we can get lots of insights how the user is utilizing this role by accessing menu items. And the whole telemetry conversation is about what users do with all of this, right? So this is the last point. This is the very last point. Like this is the last slide that we usually show to the customer. But we go through we go through the first one. So this is your security configuration, and you can do it. You really can do it. So, and we count all users who have accessed these entry points and who also have the role assigned. We count all the users in your telemetry, and we show you that, you know what, this is not a worst case, actually. When we have one user accessed and only and 2 users assigned to the security role, it's not the worst case. It's really quite good representation of the role utilization, right? Because 50% of users use this entry point. And in some cases, it's like 100% of users. 2 users use, 2 users assign. This is great. But sometimes we see something like, you know, something like this: 55 people assigned to the role, and only 11 use or 22 use this entry points. And like, in general, we don't see more than 50% utilization of the role. And we usually present this data, right? It is what it is. We count it. And we will also count the duration that users spend. And then after we analyze this, we say, okay, so you know what? We found that some roles are assigned to the users but have never been used. Just never been used. And those roles, you can consider these roles as candidates to revoke from the users. Same with the duties. Some roles are assigned to the duties but never been used. And same with the privileges. And right now, I don't push the clients to update their security. No. And sometimes we see the privileges used, but so rarely. Like one user accessed one entry point from the privilege one time, we can consider it as an inactive. But instead of considering this privilege as inactive, I offer you an opportunity to replace it by the view-only privilege. We're talking only about very expensive privileges, of course. So the privilege is a finance privilege or a supply chain privilege. Then we look at the users. Yes, same breakdown by user. The entry point, who are those users who accessed? How the users utilized their licenses. Lots of the licenses are not utilized. You see, no. So the licenses is required and not utilized. Why? Because the roles are assigned and the entry points of those roles have never been accessed by the user. Same with the role. We show which roles are assigned, never utilized. Same with the duties and privileges. But then we play the game. Okay, you know what? If we take into account only utilized privileges, we go down to the privilege, because the privilege is, I see 1 minute left, yes. The privilege is the set of secureable objects that allow the user to complete their tasks. We go down to the privilege. We don't go deeper. There is no actually need. Sometimes it's required, but in most cases there's no need. And we say, okay, so let's find an optimal configuration. And this is the optimal configuration. Roles, duties, and privileges that are required, and nothing else. And let's say we have 5 people assigned to the role. 2 people accessed certain entry points. The other 3 people accessed the other entry points. We combined all entry points for those people who are assigned to the role. And we show the privileges that cover these entry points. And then we say, this is your optimal assignment. If you assign users to the new security roles that we created, it's going to be enough. Besides, you can see that sometimes we split the security role if it recovers 2 licenses, requires 2 licenses, finance and supply chain. We split it. We found that vast majority of cases, users require 1 license. They access entry points that are either in one like one service or another service. And then we say, this is your optimal requirement, license requirement. This is your current license requirement you have to purchase according to Microsoft. And this is your optimal amount if you configure your security this way. So that's how much you can get from telemetry. And you can do it. If we can do it, you can do it. You can analyze your security. Yes, it requires time, and but the whole technology is here. I showed you. Questions, please. Sorry for. Yeah, we discussed the necessity of like to deliver this this information. It's really like it's the most burning topic right now.
It goes without saying, but if you do need some help, please feel free to reach out. We're happy to have a chat,